How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Creation Homestead. My name is Jason, and if you followed along with us for any amount of time, you're going to notice that we put a lot of effort into growing our own food. We grow a lot of tomatoes, and we harvest potatoes out of grow bags, and we plant in containers and raised beds. And we do all sorts of various food growing, methods and ways to grow, and then raise our own chickens. And we use that bedding to help fertilize the ground and create better soil. Here on our half-acre property, by the way, in the backyard only of our half-acre property, we do these things because we like to control what we eat, right? We don't want to know where our food comes from, what's going into it. We want to know that it's real food. And in January of 2022, you might have noticed, if you read the labels on your food, that there's something that your food might say. That on the back of the product that you buy in the grocery store, below the ingredients list, your food product might say contains bioengineered products or produced with bioengineering or something of that nature. And that can all be maybe a little puzzling, maybe a little concerning, maybe you're just, okay, whatever. But let's talk about what this bioengineered food product means today. For the longest time, I thought it just meant it had GMO seeds. And that may be part of it, but it's a little more specific than that. So I had to look it up, right? If the product of food that you've bought says this produced with bioengineering or contains a bioengineered food product, something of that nature, if it says that, then it means it used a process called in vitro recombinant deoxyribonucleic acid technology. or rDNA is what it's called. Essentially, they've used the process in a lab they have a host organism, and then they take a couple other organisms, put it with that to clone food products. Does this mean they're feeding us clones? And if you've watched Star Wars, maybe you see Attack of the Clones.
Begun. The Clone War has.
And there's this massive clone army. Well, okay, obviously those are cloned robot humans, whatever they are. But this is DNA cloning that they are using to create food product. Now, we can question the ethics of that all you want to, and that's going to be up for you, by the way, okay? You might be able to tell how I feel about it by the tone of this video, but you can make your own decisions. So this stuff is just made in a lab, in vitro meaning in glass, so in a lab, and it's creating organisms that will replicate protein faster, essentially. So it's going to grow faster, do those other things. Now, what all that includes and what it is, I have no idea. That's just the big scientific stuff. We're just talking about the basis, layman's terms here. But for a definition, we'll say it's. So Google says, recombinant DNA is also known as vitro recombination. A cloning vector is a DNA molecule that carries foreign DNA into a host cell where it replicates, producing many copies of itself along with the foreign DNA. By the way, this is the same similar technologies that is used in modern pharmaceuticals and we'll say medical practices that are highly questionable. And they do use this same technology in creating GMO seeds. In the last video I talked about seeds, and we covered GMOs. There are a good couple handfuls of products that have GMO seeds in them. That would be alfalfa, corn, soybean. There's an apple, there's a papaya, there's a pink pineapple, there's squash, there's salmon and a pig, okay? Those that are genetically modified organisms as well. And there were some others, but I ain't gonna go through the whole list. Either way, there's several things that are GMO products on the market. But another thing about these GMOs is that they're also produced so that they can take on herbicides without any effects on the crop. So are those herbicides getting in your food? That's another question. So essentially, if you're buying a product that's like that, or if you're buying one of those products that says contains bioengineered food ingredients or food from bioengineering, something of that nature, then you gotta understand that that's what it is. It's that item. We'll say, like, if you look at there's salad dressing, cereals, bread. If we go out and buy bread out of the store, I look at every single thing until I find one that says it doesn't contain bioengineered stuff. So there's only like one item, I think it's Nature's Own, think it's a Nature's Own bakery white bread that we buy sometimes, and I think that's about the only one I can find that doesn't contain bioengineered food ingredients. So okay. And they're going to tell you that the purpose of these GMO seeds is to solve world hunger, to reduce carbon emissions, to protect farmers and their crops. Maybe so. Also, one question people may have is, are there any harmful side effects of these GMO seeds? This is from a government website put out by the National Institute of Health, okay? So this is where I'm reading it from. There says, the results of most studies with GM foods indicate that they may cause some common toxic effects such as hepatic, pancreatic, renal, or reproductive effects, and may alter the hematological, biochemical, and immunologic parameters. See, that's what it says right here. It's the highlighted part right there. I'm not making it up. And another website suggests that if you have a food allergy to one thing, like we'll read it here. For instance, if scientists combine a gene from a Brazil nut with a soybean, there's a slight chance that a person with a nut allergy could have an allergic reaction to products made with the soybean. So as it says, the genetic change could trigger the production of an allergen. Okay, so that's another thing. You may have a random food allergy to one thing, and if they use that in producing something else, then you might actually get an allergic reaction from that, even though you didn't realize you ate anything of that nature. Does that make sense? I really want to talk about this just to make sure that you understand what you're eating. And also talking about this is why we grow a lot of our own food, so we can control what we're eating. And also, you can make your own decision based off of these thoughts, because they're not letting you know that there's DNA cloning involved in the product and the food that you're eating. Now, what does that DNA cloning do? It's hard to say. It can take years of research. It takes years of research on a lot of things that they want you to consume. And, sometimes things happen faster than that. But this is all the reality of really why you should grow your own food, why maybe you don't want to trust the food system, and maybe why it's just good to read labels. So thank you guys so much for watching. We do appreciate it. My name is Jason. This is Art of Creation Homestead. We love y'all. God bless you and goodbye.